Hey, welcome to another video in my series of being productive. There's an element of Notion again in this one, but it's the principles don't just apply to Notion. And because what I want to introduce to today is a challenge to be kind to your future self. It's fine to be okay with yourself today, but what about yourself next week, next month, or next year? What if you do something today and you nail it and you do it, you bang it out, but then you don't do that same thing for another couple of weeks? Then you have to start all over again. It goes back to scratch, back to square one. And before you know it, you're struggling, you're Googling, you're trying away. So the idea is to be kind to your future self and to actually document like everything. And the idea of standard operating procedures is borrowed from the workplace. Generally, in your job, you would have a set of guidelines. This is how the job's done. And I've pulled this out and adapted it to be used in all of life. And I think it can really help you. And I was thinking through some of the categories that I have standard operating procedures for my personal or work life in. And I thought I'd actually show you my system. It's very simple to set up. It's basically just documenting what you do one step at a time. It's like finding a YouTube step-by-step guide for yourself, but it's building that for yourself. And there are some high-level tools you can get to do that. But I find the simplest thing is to take an area in which you have to complete some task and then just give it a name. For example, I put all these home tasks. So if we actually have someone come and house sit, I can just give them all these things. If they want to use the oven in the home, the washing machine, handling the inverter, making coffee, etc. And things that I'm going to do on a regular basis or infrequent basis even, I will do them there. And all it is just a step-by-step guide. Some may be a paragraph. Some may be a little longer than that. Some actually may be massive. They might be like long information. You can see most of these are just short little things that I need to get done, and I don't want to each time I'm handing over to someone, for example, to house it, or even myself do these chores in the home. I want to start from scratch. So a section of home tasks is really good. A section of work tasks, so everything I do in the coaching space, I make sure that I document that step by step. The newsletter I create every week, I make sure that every single aspect of creating the newsletter. So I actually created first in Notion, and I have my step-by-step guide. I then create it in a email program called MailerLite. You could use anyone. And then I create short links in the shortening app called Bitly. And I don't have to try and remember what was the link to where I'd find it. I then update my website. So if I'm working through those four things step by step, I'm on top of it. Even recording these videos, my video editing process, this is what I go through each time I do it. And then there's work-related functions that I have. There is previous work stuff. I've actually just handed over the job that I have done for the last decade or two, and all of these activities. It was very easy to share my standard operating procedures with someone else who's going to handle each part of this, and it was a super simple handover. I don't just stop at work and home. I go into any of my hobbies, whether it's my bird watching hobby, whether it's my photography hobby, you name it. Anything to do with a computer. I make sure that if I find something, a good way to do it, a shortcut or something like that, I will just document it step by step. This is what it is. Here's some shortcuts, for example, and that sort of thing. And then any programs that I work in, whether it's Notion or OBS, which is the online broadcast streaming platform, or the open source one, or Logitech, anything to do with a mouse or a keyboard. And then I've just got a hodgepodge of a category, an area called other tasks. And here you can see all those categories on the right-hand side of the screen: home, work, hobby, computer program, other tasks. You could come up with whatever sequence or categorization of items, and then just start building it over time. And you won't come up with all of these. Even in publishing my first book, often people have said, how did you publish it on Amazon? Well, here we go. This is what I did. Step by step, you do this, then you do this. You create your author page. Here are my templates for creating your cover so that you can have the paperback version done. How do you go about getting an ISBN? So, hey, if any of these things, if they strike your fancy and you want to get access to this, just shout and I'll send you details of any of these. And so be kind to your future self. Make sure that you build these like quick reference materials for each part of your life, every aspect of your life, and you will be very thankful, maybe not today, but sometime in the future, where you say, hey, look, I wrote that down, I've got it. I used to use this just in Apple Notes before I used Notion. And so again, this is not a Notion tutorial per se, even though I house mine in Notion for quick access, whether it's on my phone, my computer, wherever I am, whether I'm at home or out and about. I've always got access to it. So I trust that was helpful. Do the subscribe thing, be part of this. There's some great other videos on budgeting, on finding and living your mission, of a way to get information into your system and then process it, organize it and distill it and express it. There's tons of videos that are starting to build up on my channel. So it's been a privilege to share this with you today. So go well. See you next week.